shut down.
No, I know, it used to be like weekly. Yeah, I just met Carla last week. We had just met up with her, had a couple beers.
Oh, okay.
It was fun.
Somebody's selling something.
It was fun.
Let me see, Nicole sent me this last night, planning session, board update packet.
The viewings were out too.
This is the current
Um,
one,
is it-
186 pages.
Well, you'll go through 100 of those pretty
Yeah, they
quick.
happen to be out too, so she's like, my thoughts over there.
Mr. Johnson.
I keep a pretty close watch on that time. Okay.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, good morning.
Morning, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, just want to bring up one thing this morning before we get the meeting going. We always have a process here, and I believe the Roberts rules would be that we would make a motion and second, and then have a discussion after the fact. Meaning if you make a motion or a second, doesn't mean you agree or disagree. That's just the correct way to do things. So that's kind of how we'd like to move forward. So do I have approval of the board minutes?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any additions or deletions?
There are none.
Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chair. Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
You have to change where we're doing
Yeah,
that.
I'm getting rid of additions and deletions. This is for the minutes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It's all right, Jim.
I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we're gonna move to the certificate of appreciation.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Chair, we'll do a quick little order shuffle here. And I want to extend gratitude from Amy Kwalczyk. She is out this week, but the two members here that we want to recognize served on the Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment and worked closely with her office. And she wanted me to mention that she very much appreciates the service. It's not an easy job that those two committees have. And the service that you provided, the dedication that you had was very well appreciated. It allows her to do her job better. It allows the county board to operate, and we thank you for that. So with that, I'd like to recognize Bob Lorenz, who served on the Morrison County Planning Commission from 2004 to 2015.
Come on up, Bob. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, very much. And Mr. Gunderson served on the Board of Adjustment from 2005 to 2015. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, any comments at all?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, if I could just also identify that Mr. Stump, Joe Stump, is not here. He served on the Planning Commission from 2013 through 2015. And then Claude Damon was a longtime member of the Board of Adjustment from 2006 to 2015. They were unable to join us today, but we will get their certificates of appreciation in the mail to them.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'd like to thank Bob for all of his years on the Planning Commission and Charlie on the Board of Adjustment. Those, it's a lot of people don't like serving on those boards, and especially the Board of Adjustment, right, Charlie?
Yeah.
They're tough. Those are tough boards, so thank you both for all your years.
Commissioner Jelinski.
Mr. Chair, I truly also would like to thank both Bob and Charlie. We often hear the term community used in many things that we do in our life today. And it truly is a piece of community that these people have given for all these years on the boards that they have represented. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
I'd also like to thank Bob, Charlie, Joe, and Claude for the years. I know being a new commissioner and watching that board the last year, I feel that job is much tougher than what we have up here. everything that comes to you guys is an issue, otherwise it wouldn't come to you. You know, so I've sat through a lot of those, and I think the job you did was tremendous, so thank you very much for your services.
And myself, all the years I've seen you guys sit, I was sitting in the audience, sitting next to you. It's kind of sometimes a thankless job because no matter what decision you make, whether it's planning, the Board of Adjustment, some people aren't going to like what you say, but I believe really that you guys did the best, which was for the county at that time or that area that you did. So, yeah, it took a lot of willpower, as I say, to make those decisions. So again, appreciate everyone's service. So again, thank you.
And if we could just take a photo.
Photo time,
I
photo op.
appreciate it.
Photo op.
And get by that easy.
Well, I used to have a saying when things didn't go right, when we were doing Board of Adjustments, I'd say, we're not on that guy's Christmas list.
Yeah.
You were right.
Oh.
Well, why don't we,
Well.
Gentlemen.
maybe Bob stand kind of.
How about if I think
The proud Charlie.
Charlie's off the
Sorry.
towel. You're right. Yep.
There we go.
Yes, I think that does work.
Does this work?
We wanted
It
you
does.
up front, Charlie, but you're just too tall.
Yeah.
You guys just aren't tall enough, that's all.
Oh my goodness, couldn't be better.
There you go.
All right.
Hey, Bob.
Thank you.
Church in this relock.
Thank you, Bob.
Couldn't see nothing.
We'll see you around.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Charlie.
Yep, thank you.
See you around too.
Thank you. Thanks, Charlie.
Dwayne's is good, yeah, he's got his.
Yeah, mine went goofy.
No, your glasses are probably sitting on it.
No, no, I tried stopping.
And if you guys want to stay, if you two want to hang around for the next couple hours, that'd be fine too.
Thank you much, guys.
Yep, thank you guys.
Hey, guys.
All right, gentlemen. Okay, now we're gonna go back to a public hearing. This is for the Morrison County Recreational Trails and Regulations. So if Mr. Steve wants to come up, present what we have to offer, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. We are requesting that the county board update our recreational trails rules and regulation ordinance. Due to a change that was made in the 2015 legislature on how they define Class 1 and Class 2 ATVs, the definition changed from essentially the size, cubic centimeters of the engine and weight of the unit to the width of the unit in that legislation. And the way our ordinance had been set up, it referred to Minnesota Statute 84.92, but then it also went on to reiterate the definition that was in it. And so now what our ordinance has is it has a conflict between what the statute says and then what we reiterated the statute said. And so what we are proposing in the two sections that had that definition, that we strike the language where we reiterated the statute and just stop it after referring to the definition of the state statute for both Class 1 and Class 2 ATVs. The other changes would be the repealer in the ordinance, and then also the dates of the new enactment, which would be today. And so we'd request the board hold the public hearing, and if there isn't any changes to what we're proposing, that you would act on that.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open it up to the public. I'll ask 3 times if anyone has any reason for opposed or for it, and any comment. So at this time, I'll ask 1 time, is there any comments? 1 time. Any comments for the proposed ordinance? And last and final, any comments for the proposed ordinance? I will close the public hearing. Do we have any emails or anything like that, Stephen?
We did not receive any.
Okay.
I didn't either,
comment
Mr.
All
Chair.
right, okay. So at this time, I'd like to open it up for a motion and a second.
I would so move on that, Mr. Chair.
I'll second it.
And now for discussion. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, Steve, when it comes, like if our ordinance is changing, those signs that we see on the trails that describe those two vehicles, if I'm not mistaken, so they're out there whether our ordinance says they can or not because it's the whole trail? Do you understand what I'm saying?
What is posted on the boards along the trail will have to be updated to reflect our ordinance.
It will.
Yes, and that was one of the issues. Actually, that's what had driven it. There's some language on some of them that was not consistent with what the ordinance said.
So do those boards then, are they different and when you get into the next county?
I don't believe so. I think most of them utilize the state definition of an
Okay,
ATV.
okay,
That's
okay.
why we want to do that.
Yep, okay.
Mr. Chair, if I could, we try to, when we adopt ordinances, be as vague as allows, so that way if there are statute changes that would, like in this case, modify how that ordinance is applied or interpreted or what our requirements are, that we don't have to redo this,
Yep.
but sometimes that doesn't work, you know, and sometimes it makes sense one way or the other, but this is really a clerical type of change that aligns with state statute.
Any more discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Jazinski.
If I'm understanding this correctly, and I believe that I'm on the right page, we're simply following state law with the
We're-
changes that we're making today.
We're going to define an ATV the same way the state of Minnesota defines an ATV.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Any more discussion? If not, we have a request to approve the resolution of enactment of proposed updates, changes to the Morrison County ordinance regarding recreational trail rules and regulations, regulating the use of county-owned trails within Morrison County. I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Do they-
And now we have Public Works report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I have a number of items that I'm requesting the board grant me to proceed on. The first would be that you would authorize myself or one of my appointees to negotiate gravel pit agreements with property owners throughout the county. We utilize gravel resources in our work. We negotiate royalties with those property owners for the material that we use, and we need to have your authority to do that.
Mr. Steve, can we put these both together, or do we do one at a time?
It's your call, I guess. If you'd like, we can put them together. The second would be that spring road restrictions will be
Right.
coming into place in the not-too-distant future. We utilize the same time period that the Minnesota Department of Transportation utilizes in establishing and then removing road restrictions. And so the statute requires that the board authorize us to be able to do that.
I would need a motion
I would move on both of those, Mr.
and a
Chair.
second.
I'll second
Any
those.
more discussion?
Mr. Chair, I would ask Steve a question as to about geographically, how many gravel pits are we talking about? Just
You know,
curious,
I would
guess.
say that annual, we probably do 4 or 5, but some of them have 2-year, the agreements are for 2 years.
Okay.
So it'll depend on where some of the work takes place. But typically, we're negotiating 4 or 5 agreements a year.
And I would anticipate that these gravel pits are geographically all around Morrison
Yes.
County. Okay,
Correct.
very good.
Any more discussion?
Mr. Chair, Steve, road restrictions, do they always go on a certain date and off at a certain date, or does the weather play a part of that?
MnDOT monitors throughout the state depth of frost, ambient air temperatures, those type of things, and that determines when they go on. Typically then, once the date is determined on when they go on for each zone, there are, I believe there's 5 zones in the state. Once they determine the date that they go on, 8 weeks after following that, they will go off.
Okay. And does farm equipment, does that pertain to road restrictions too? Manure
If
spreaders,
animals of
stuff like that?
husbandry do not, it's licensed vehicles that are regulated through road
Okay,
restrictions.
all right, thank you.
Any more discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, these I'd like to take separately. We would like to proceed with soliciting contractors produce gravel for us, also highway striping and calcium chloride application. So we're asking authority to be able to solicit from contractors for those bids.
I'll make a motion. Do you want
Yeah,
each one of those?
we're gonna do them
separate?
separately, so we'll
Yep.
go with the first one, please.
With that, the three of that would be one. There's
Oh,
another
okay.
one also on the RBA.
So we'll do the one, and then we'll do the other one.
Yes, that's all.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, motion to approve,
Aye.
Aye.
opposed, motion carries.
The second one, we're requesting the board to authorize us to go to seasonal bids for equipment rental, bituminous material, and winter maintenance sand. We do this annually. It ties in prices with contractors for us. If we have a natural disaster, those prices are utilized for work throughout the county that may take place. It's not anything specific, but the reason we do that is really focused on tying those prices in case we have something happen.
Mr. Chair, I'll move on that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion?
Mr. Chair, Steve, I would ask the question simply, again, to ask is, do we generally rent a lot of equipment? I'm not talking about a natural disaster. As a common practice throughout the year of doing road work, whatever it might be, do we actually go out and rent?
Yeah, on some of the bigger centerline culvert replacements, we'll rent a big excavator.
Okay.
We'll rent compaction equipment, things that have, we don't use a lot, but we need when we do have to use them. We wouldn't put a lot of hours on them if we owned them, and so we don't acquire that type of equipment, we rent
Okay.
it.
Makes
Any
sense
more
to me.
discussion? Question, when you put this out for bids for massive quantities, and we have carryover, I'm assuming, from last year, I don't know if you do for like bituminous material and stuff like that, is that important to use that old stuff up, or does it get old and then you want to use that first, or you can use it year after year?
On these, this is hot mix type
Right.
thing, so it's produced and we're using it at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So we really, on the gravel, we do produce stockpiles throughout the county.
Salt was one of the big ones, obviously you can't use it much in the springtime.
Salt is purchased off the state bid, and so when we get into the fall,
Yeah.
we'll have to make a determination on what's left over
Okay.
and how much we anticipate we could use in the following season. Yes, with salt, it's very important to use it up. It can become very hard.
Right.
It's expensive, and it could go to waste if we don't manage that correctly.
Yeah, okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr.
Any
Chair.
questions?
Steve, the work's gonna be done this summer? Are bids going?
We're advertising currently.
Okay,
And so March 3rd is the opening, and
Oh,
then the
March 3rd.
following board meeting is when we would bring the abstract for your consideration.
okay.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Proclamation. Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. Come on up.
All these teens that are
Yeah.
presenting this.
Right.
If you all want to stand,
Stand?
that's fine, or some of you
Yeah.
can sit, but if everybody can introduce themselves and what brings you here and how you play a role in the initiative.
I'm Deanna Thompson. I'm the new violence prevention coordinator.
Julie Capch, I'm the Assistant Director at Hands of Hope Resource Center.
Hi, I'm Amber Kuzler, Assistant Morrison County Attorney.
I'm Hope Yoder from Probation.
Pat Rio from St. Gabriel's Hospital.
Michelle Rocha from St. Gabriel's Hospital.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, everybody.
Whereas females between the ages 16 to 24 are more vulnerable to intimate partner violence, experiencing abuse at a rate almost triple the national average, and whereas 1 in 3 adolescent girls in the United States is the victim of physical, emotional, or verbal abuse from a dating partner, a figure that far exceeds victimization rates for other types of violence affecting youth, and whereas high school students who experience physical violence in a dating relationship are more likely to use drugs and alcohol, are at a greater risk of suicide, and are much more likely to carry patterns of abuse into future relationships, and whereas young people victimized by a dating partner are more likely to engage in risky sexual behavior and unhealthy dieting behaviors, and the experience may disrupt normal development of self-esteem and body image. And whereas nearly half of teens who experience dating violence report that incidents of abuse took place in a school building or on school grounds. And whereas only 33% of teens who are in an abusive relationship ever tell anyone about the abuse, and 81% of parents surveyed either believe teen dating violence is not an issue or admit they do not know if it is one. And whereas by providing young people with education about healthy relationships and relationship skills, and by changing attitudes that support violence, we recognize that dating violence can be prevented. And whereas it is essential to raise community awareness and to provide training for teachers, counselors, and school staff so that they may recognize when youth are exhibiting signs of dating violence. And whereas the establishment of Dating Violence Prevention and Awareness Month will benefit young people, their families, schools, and communities regardless of socioeconomic status, gender, sexual orientation, or ethnicity. And whereas everyone has the right to a safe and healthy relationship and to be free from abuse. Whereas the Violence Prevention Initiative and Violence Prevention Council of Morrison County has implemented an initiative to reduce partner violence in the county, including educating area youth and adults, communicating awareness through media and activities, implementing changes in systems and interventions, and enhancing community resources. Now, therefore, we, the Morrison County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim February 2016 Dating Violence Prevention and Awareness Month throughout Morrison County. We urge all community members to work toward ending teen dating violence by empowering young people to develop healthier relationships, assisting victims in accessing the information and supportive services they need, creating better and more resources for young people in need, instituting effective intervention and prevention policies in schools, and engaging in discussions with family members and peers to promote awareness and prevention of the quiet epidemic of teen dating violence.
Mr. Chair, I would so move on that. And with that, I would like to thank all of you for everything you do. Appreciate it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, any more discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
Mr. Wilson, go ahead.
Commissioner Wilson.
I was just gonna thank you for all the work you do, that's all.
Commissioner Jensky.
Through Hands of Hope and through all of the other programs that there are, it takes special people to follow up on all of this stuff. It truly does. Those that are out there giving the word, passing the word along, it's a wonderful thing to have here. We're missing out on all those other ones that have to make the arrests for the bad people. But it starts here and with the education piece, and I very much appreciate everything that you do. Thank you very much.
And myself, it's scary information, you know, and I looked at this here, and it's just like, really? You know, you look at that, and again, I appreciate the awareness that you're bringing out for this, because, again, this is information that a lot of people don't know about, and it's just like me, I'm just going, and I had daughters and stuff like that, and I'm sure we all have them going through, and it's like, where does this information come from? So it's great that you get that out there, so again, I appreciate the work you do, so. Any more discussion? If not, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Perfect, and I
Thank you
know
very
that
much.
you all wanna.
Photo op?
Have a photo op.
When
Good
you were
grief,
for-
yes.
Hope was like excited, she said, Deb, don't let me leave without a photo, and so I wanted to listen
We
to
could
her.
not let Hope go without a
No,
photo.
I could tell that.
She gets to be
Just
in the
doesn't
front.
come
I'm a
here all
good
that
side.
often.
Yeah, I'm the front always, because I'm the shortest. Step right. Oh, I'm
Nothing
with you.
wrong with being short.
Every good
Well,
company.
somebody short there,
Nothing
so
wrong
I
at
didn't
all.
expect that.
Nothing wrong with being
Okay.
short.
Oh my goodness, you guys.
We did
Dress
pretty
up the
good, didn't
board,
we?
yes,
Oh,
yeah.
that's good.
Gabby, take that one first. Oh my goodness, perfect. All right. I'm gonna have Mike actually step over on the other side of Julie. There, that way your head is not completely surrounded.
Your hair was too bright.
Ready? Perfect. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
We
We don't know why does it do that, so don't you do that.
Good job.
Oh, wait, one more.
I want this one.
Yeah, didn't you want me to sit down?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand.
You just want Dwayne to leave.
Mr. Chair, if we could just take a short break So we can set up for
And
the,
we'll take about a 7-minute break here, so.
7 minutes.
You.
7 minutes.
Not 5, not 6.
When I asked you a question
ten.
earlier, what I was wondering is when you change the order of
Seven.
this, if that needs to go
Seven
on
out.
that. Okay, that's
The
what
only
I,
thing is that there's a change,
I'm just trying to get,
how should I say?
yeah, I understand, but that's what I was asking you is, do we need to change that? That's, I knew that you didn't know what the hell you were doing.
Yeah,
thanks, Steve.
let's see, years of service, I looked at that too, 30 years. Do we have a 40-year service?
Yeah, there was last
I
year,
know we had, yeah.
yeah.
Let's see here.
Do they all come up?
As
Yep,
many as can.
if they're here.
So you're gonna have a lot of fun next week, Nicole?
What's next week?
She's going.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's, is this, this is 5, this is 10.
Well, just guess.
Just. If I remember, I think, wasn't the Cubs 5 years, right?
No, they're 10, I'm quite certain. I think the 20
Well,
is
count
the
how many cups you got, and then you can see them.
I know,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Just talking out loud.
No, 5 years is the, you get a frame.
I was wrong. Yeah.
Not that we'd ever point that out, but yes, you are.
Yeah. We've got it on the calendar.
Yeah.
I'll put that on my calendar right here.
Welcome.
Welcome, guys and gals. And Steve.
It's Steve, Mr. Steve.
At least 10 to a group or something.
Yeah.
I'm glad you dressed up today with all these pictures you're taking.
And then after that, board cleans out. We can just move on.
You're doing fine.
10:30. Talk last 2 by this, because I watched some videos by us doing the motion and the second first. They don't ask us questions or something. It's kind of see how it
Well,
goes.
it gets to be more of a conversation.
Right, yep.
Yeah. Good shot.
Morning, Sheriff.
Hey, Scott. Really?
Sheriff's right now. Tell me what you like that.
What do we do? Do one of these at a time and then take the pictures?
Okay, what we do is we'll go through every one of them, and then we'll see how many people, because obviously there's only gonna be less than half. So if there's not that many, then what we'll do is, group them off of 10. So 2 or 3 people. But we'll get them all.
We can start Dwayne's here now.
I'm not the last one back now, so don't give me any grief.
We can start without John.
I wish the board meeting would be this full all the time.
People want to. There's 2 ways of looking at that. Sometimes they come because they want us over here, and sometimes they don't come because they want us over here.
Oh, there you go.
I thought maybe you set your glasses.
No, it didn't.
Where,
It
you
just
know what I
went
mean?
goofy. Yeah. Went goofy. Oh, yeah.
Okie dokie, it's 9:30. How about Deb, we start off with the Years of Service Awards?
Will do. It's actually, I love this time of year because while some of us get the opportunity to enjoy every board meeting, not everybody does. And so welcome. It's nice to see employees here, and it's wonderful to take an opportunity to recognize those of us that have been here a while and dedicate so much to the organization. We see each other every day, and it's really kind of like a family sometimes. And so welcome and thank you for what you do. And the work isn't always fun and easy, but it's important. So we appreciate it. So we have years of service for a number of different levels and for folks that have been here a number of different years. And so we'll start with the 5-year certificates
If
of
I may?
appreciation. Yes, you may.
Please don't leave after you get your award, because you have to stay around for your picture.
Yes, I think more people are excited about that than actually being
Absolutely.
So, thank you. For the 5-year certificates of appreciation, Jason Bourne, I don't see here today, but this morning. Jeffrey Bowman from Social Services. Joe Hay from the Auditor Treasurer's Office.
Should we clap or wait till all at once?
Mr. Chair,
Congratulations.
Thank you, Joe.
should we hold our applause until the end?
Why don't we do that? Hold their applause until each.
How about after each 5-year
Yes.
tenure?
Yes, thank you.
Good
There you
idea.
Good job. Thank you for picking up the slack
Yes.
that I obviously did. Amber Kusler from the County Attorney's Office. Miss Linda Shablewski from the Sheriff's Office. Or no, sorry. Linda, I'm looking at you saying, she's not here today, from the Social Services.
Social services.
Thank you for
And
those.
that's our 5-year.
Sheriff Larson, did you want to do this instead? Here, I mean.
I'll keep my comments
All right.
to the end.
Miss Dorothy Bachin from Veterans Service Office, thank you for 10 years, or 15 years, 10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you. Patty Branchard from the County Attorney's Office.
Who's the next one?
Yeah, who's the next one?
Congratulations.
Deb Gruber,
Not here.
not quite as important here. Miss Beth Hamlin from Administration.
I see her.
Yes. Too many moving parts here, Randy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How about if I give the cups out too? then?
Sounds good. Luann Jarvis with Veterans
I
Service
think I
Office.
can do this at the same time. Yeah, there we go. Congratulations.
Jackie Marks. I thought I saw Jackie. With maintenance. Gail Miller for social services. Thank you, Gail.
Congratulations.
James Pachelke is a deputy with the sheriff's office. He isn't here. We'll get him his.
That's right.
Mr. John Ruby is with the sheriff's office part-time, and he isn't here today. I'm gonna get him his information. And anxiously awaiting Linda Strand from the sheriff's office.
There we go.
Oh, my goodness.
Last but not least. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's our 10 years.
Miss Rachel Barda from Social Services, 15 years. Excellent.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Rachel. Mr. Dale Byerman from Assessor's Office, 15 years. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Dale.
Mike Disher with Tech Services, 15 years.
Deep breath.
Congratulations, Mike. Ms. Fran Dosh, Public Health, thank you. Jane Holman with the Sheriff's Office and Dispatch isn't able to join us today. And Miss Amy Kwolzik with Planning and Zoning is on vacation and not able to join us today. Miss Sandy Lubers with Maintenance, thank you, Sandy.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Sandy. And Mr. Kevin Mauer, who served prior to him becoming commissioner, and so he's under 15 years of service. He isn't able to join us today. Nancy Ruby with Public Health. I don't think I saw Nancy. Bobby Sanders with Public Works, 15 years. Robert, I'm sorry.
Robert, congratulations.
Miss Dee Schaefer with Social Services. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Julie Shellstad with the Assessor's Office. There you are. Sitting in a corner. Thanks, Julie. Jean Pop with the Assessor's Office. I haven't seen Jean this morning either. Amy Springer with Public Health. I don't think I saw Amy either. Teresa Sweeney with Social Services.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Teresa. Mary Swenson with the Sheriff's Office.
Again, last but not least, we got. I'll take this.
Oh, sorry.
She wanted to keep it for herself.
Okay.
Must be something good.
Thank you, Mary, sorry.
And that would be the 10 years. I made a mistake again, 15.
You're making me look better.
There you go.
20 years of service. We have a clock for folks with 20 years, and Karen Ottman from Public Health. Hope Yoder.
Yes. Yes. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah. Joy Leidenfrost, Social Services. I know you're here.
Congratulations, Joy.
Thank you, Joy. Trina Ebinger, I saw also with Social Services. Thank you, Trina.
Congratulations.
Last but not least, Mr. John Shalonda with Public Works.
John here?
Yeah, John's here.
Congratulations.
Thank you, John.
And that would be 20 years.
Yeah. 25 years, we have Elizabeth Bruns with Social Services. Did I say that right? Yes. Okay.
Congratulations.
All right, back, sorry. Congratulations. John Erdrich, it's been 25 long years.
Wow.
Long years.
Sorry, John. Jeannie Garlock with the Auditor Treasurer's Office.
I know what she's not.
Congratulations, Jeannie. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Eileen Holberg with the Recorder's Office. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Ricky Okerman with Public Works. Thanks, sir.
Congratulations, sir.
And Jim Zimney with the Sheriff's Office up in the jail. Haven't seen Jim this morning.
And that would be 25 years.
Scott Kunkel with the Assessor's Office. Haven't seen this morning either for 30 years
30
of
years,
service. And Tom Daniels with Public Works. I haven't seen 30 years of service. That's quite a long time. We appreciate their service.
Those
to
are our
Morrison
30
County.
years.
And like I said, thank you all. The work you do is very important, and it's the favorite part of my job, getting to know all of you and working with you and seeing what you do every day, because it's pretty amazing. So I appreciate it.
Any discussion, board?
Nope. Mr. Chair, I would just like to thank everybody also for your commitment to Morrison County. Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, whether it's 5 years or whether it's 30 years, it's time commitment and it's time served, and I can't appreciate it any more than anybody else. Thank you.
Just thank you for the great job that everybody does. We appreciate it, and thank you.
And the biggest thing is photo op, so how do you like to do it?
I think if we have
10 at a time, 15?
5
20?
and 10 year, and for now, and then we'll get maybe the 15 years, and then we'll do the rest.
5 and 10 year over here, please. Cheers.
We survived.
That's why there's rollers on these trucks.
Yeah, go like way in the back. Go in the back. There you
Thank you, everyone. I'm 50 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay. 15 and 20. Right on the money.
Mary, why don't you come?
You want me to go behind the door? Yeah.
Sorry, come by the guys over here.
Where do you want me?
Something with that band.
It would. That looks very professional.
My gosh. Good looking group.
It's amazing how
I can't see Teresa's face.
There we go.
There.
Got everybody?
Rachel, you did a good job trying to hide too. We got you. Thank you.
Oh, it's gonna get longer.
There you go. There's your stuff. Thank you, sir.
I think that 20, 25, or 30 ounce scale.
Whatever's left over, huh?
I'm going back.
Oh, you bet.
Here we are.
I know. You can start to talk about us.
And Jeannie is treating me.
I don't want to be in front.
We are, except for Ricky kind of hidden.
Needs to be right here.
John, yeah.
Oh, yeah, John.
I don't want to cut you off.
John, get on your tiptoes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, one more. I have the slowest camera ever.
Maybe Bobby wants to take you out for lunch.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I might actually think about it.
Oh, wow. Let's see. That's right, that's right. That's right.
That's it.
Well, that's right, Kevin,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody left.
I'm gonna worry about that all night.
All right, sheriff's report.
Morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board.
Good morning, Sheriff. Morning, Scotty.
Morning.
So we just have one thing to go through today. It's the adoption of the Morrison County All Hazard Mitigation Plan. I need a signature from the board, chair. So give you a little bit what this is about. I got the manual in front of me. You can see how thick it is.
Sheriff, are you going to read that
No.
verbatim? No, okay, thank you.
The last paragraph.
I'll do everybody a favor.
There you go.
So we'll just summarize it real quick. So we had a Regional 5 Development Commission, that's the company. A representative from that company developed the county's hazmat mitigation plan. So basically, what we need to do is FEMA already approved it, pending the adoption from the board. So a little bit about it, what does the plan do? The plan identifies hazards that could potentially occur in Morrison County and could potentially impact our county. It identifies areas, groups, and facilities that are at risk or could be at risk. It identifies recommended goals and action steps to mitigate the identified hazards. And it also makes the county, townships, and participating cities eligible to apply for FEMA mitigation funding. This plan started, I believe, in 2013, when Scott McKissick used to be our emergency manager. So he was obviously involved in the planning stages as well. And once it's adopted, it will go in effect immediately through 2020. So I brought Lieutenant McKissick here as well in case there's any questions that I might not be able to answer, if there's any. This is the,
Any information that you'd like to put out there, Scott?
We started this back in 2013. It's been a 3-year project going on. We started a year before our current plan was expired and worked on it the last 3 years. It's paid for off a $25,000 grant from the state and from FEMA at a 25% match share. So pretty much no cost to the county for it except our time. But yeah, it's good now through 2020. It's a 5-year cycle. So
How about this, gentlemen? How about let's make a motion and second to consider adopting the Morrison County.
So moved,
All
Mr.
I have
Chair.
a-
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any more discussion?
Well, Mr. Chair, yeah, we have to do it, and like you said, we got the grant to do it, so you gotta do those things, like, for FEMA, for the cities and the townships and that, so it had to be done.
yeah,
so
you gotta have
it's
this,
done.
you gotta have
Yep.
this if any community wants to do hazard mitigation projects.
Yep.
If you participated in the planning process, then they'll be eligible. If you wanna build safe houses for trailer courts or stuff like that.
Okay, Mr. Chair, one question, were all the cities involved?
yep, I can actually tell you the
Okay,
cities
okay.
that participate.
No, I just need to know if they were all,
Yep.
yeah, okay.
Any more discussion? The question I have is that, do all cities and towns participate in this hazmat? Or
Not everybody.
Okay.
We pushed it out, we push it out to everybody, every city, every village.
Well, I'm not talking just Morrison County, I'm talking.
Every
other
county,
counties.
every county in the state of Minnesota has to have
Yeah.
a
Okay.
hazard mitigation plan.
All right.
So, yeah.
Mr. Chair, if they don't, then they're ineligible for funding if
For
something
FEMA
were to
funding.
occur.
Right.
So it really is a
Yeah,
process
exactly.
that's been occurring for
Yep.
quite some
Right.
time now. I don't know if it was in conjunction with the Act of 2000 or not, as indicated in the resolution, but it's something that we need to participate in if we want to be eligible
Right.
for funding
Yep.
if a disaster were to occur.
I'm not, Mr. Chair, I'm not really positive it's totally ineligible, but it sure is gonna make things go a whole lot easier if you've got it.
Well,
if
you
you've
gotta
got
have
that.
this if you want hazard mitigation funding. This is different and separate from federal disaster declarations. Federal disaster declarations has nothing to do with this, so like our storms we've had in 13 and 14, that doesn't pertain to this, so that's totally separate funding.
Thank you for clarifying.
Any more discussion, gentlemen? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
Pretty
Thanks,
painless.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
I'll get that back at some point today.
Simple. Any more, Mr. Sheriff?
That's all I got.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thanks,
day.
Sean.
See ya.
Thanks, Scott.
It'll.
Social services.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners.
Morning, Brad.
Good morning, Brett. Good morning, Karen.
Today, for the first item on our agenda is Karen Sidrowski is here to talk a little bit about energy assistance. As we thought the heating season was almost over, but after this week, it might go on for just a little while yet, so.
Mr. Chair, I appreciate the color coordination. You look very nice.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
You called it this morning before you came in. That's good.
I'm all about fashion.
Oh,
You and me both.
Okay, too much information.
Okay, energy assistance. As you can see, do they have that on?
Yep, yep, they have it both in front of them and on the,
Service provider payments by county. We gave you last year and this year to show you the difference. The payments have gone down significantly. Some of the reasons would be warmer weather, lower fuel and gas prices, and more people are working. So that's a good thing.
Yep.
The grants, how they're determined are according to household size and according to income and according to last year's consumption. So-
just, maybe I'll just, one thing that we didn't say when we started, we use TRICAP out of St. Cloud. That's why when you compare the 4 counties, these are the 4 counties that they do energy assistance for. So TRICAP does our energy assistance program out of Sauk Rapids.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Yes, so in other words, here in Morrison County, for primary heat, we were given $729,000, but we only used part of that?
Last time.
Yep. Does that mean that we don't have as many, or this is what we're using, and that's how many people qualify?
Well, last year we used 729,000.
Yep.
This
Yep.
year we used 573,000.
Okay.
So that's how much less we used for primary.
Mr. Chair?
It's the dollar amount, Mr. Chair, and
Yep.
it's,
Yeah.
Mike,
Right.
and it's the number of households. Those are two different numbers they're measuring. So the blue is the number of households, or I'm sorry, the red, and then the purple in the second is the dollar amount.
I guess what I'm trying to look at here, when we see that in Morrison County, we don't hit the red dot on either one, like the households
Oh,
are more
I
than.
see what you're saying.
Oh,
Yeah, households are more than what, so are our households spending more for
I get what
less?
you're saying.
Less.
Less, yeah,
Less.
less.
And, Mr. Chair, with that, it's less this year, but the price of fuel is way less.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's gotta be a big,
Yeah, that's a big one.
really less.
Commissioner Jelinski.
Mr. Chair, I have a question right off the bat for Brad. Obviously, and without a question, this is tax money again, but what pot of tax money does this come from? Is this federal funds that come to social services? Is this?
This is actually federal funds that come through and go to TRICAP. So we really don't see much of this through our agency. This is a service that's done on behalf of TRICAP. And we've had that relationship, for about 10 years? A little less, a little more?
A little less, I think.
So we used to do this, so we would hire temporary staff from
Years ago.
October to February, March. And then TRICAP began providing energy assistance in a broader area, and so then we turned that particular pot of money over to them.
If I may, question I have, maybe I'm way off kilter here, but is this including for like maybe windows, or
No.
updating, this is just heat alone, that's it?
This is primary heat.
Okay.
But we do have crisis
Right.
and energy-related repair.
But they don't
wind-
combine them as part of the heat, though, that's kind of what I'm saying.
No,
so,
they're separate
okay.
programs.
All right,
The windows are through a different program, weatherization with TRICAP.
okay. But TRICAP also does that too?
Yes.
Yes, yep.
Because I would assume if they're doing that, they're insulating, getting the windows up to date, there'd be less heat to be used, so therefore, that's why, hopefully, that's what their usage is going down, another reason, so.
Yeah, so you have to qualify for the weatherization program at all, so not everybody that's on the energy assistance program has participated in the weatherization program. It's a different application, there's different funding amounts available, so there's not always enough weatherization money to fix doors and windows. And there's always not enough money to, let's say somebody's furnace goes out, or might not be enough money for that either. However, this program will pay for furnaces, repairs, those kinds of things if
Right.
they qualify.
And another question is, if I'm renting from an owner of a house, and I qualify for the weatherization, that landlord could actually get his house updated for the windows even, because didn't it used to be that way?
Many, many years ago,
Right,
but that.
okay,
that
that's
went
gone,
away.
so, okay, all right,
They took the landlords out.
okay, all
Mr.
right.
Chair, might I ask Karen, I don't know if it's probably right in front of me here. Do you have a number, or is it not even a good question to ask on how many households this is actually covering in Morrison County? about?
Well, I think,
It's 923, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I think
Oh, is
that's
that the number of
number.
houses?
I think
Excuse
that
me.
is.
That, told you it was
Last year
right in
it
front
was
of me. Got it.
1045 and the
Thank you.
923 for this year.
Thank you.
So there's less people applying.
Yeah, thank you.
Which
And
I'm hoping is a good thing.
The dollar figure is $156,000 less than it was
Right.
last year, so
Yep.
yeah, it has to come out some way like that. Low prices are not just the thing, obviously, and again, less people.
More people working.
More people are working, which is a positive thing.
Mr. Chair, my original question though, like, let's say 923 people applied here in Morrison County. Did they get the 573, or is that what was available to the people, 573,000?
The 923 people did get that 573,000.
Okay, so then if I'm reading these graphs correctly, then our people got more per person than Stearns County, for instance.
We're farther north.
Mr. Chair, also, Mike,
Whatever that's worth.
it's just the numbering
He's
of.
totally correct.
It does go off
Sometimes it's
consumption.
hard to
so
say
that-
on track, and I don't know why, but it's just the numbering of the graphs and where it's laying out. If you look on where it's not equally divided, it goes from, well, yeah, it is. It's every $200,000 that the graph goes up on the right side, and then it's, every 500 households, so it's just kind of how it's lining up.
Okay.
Is what's occurring with that graph.
But I
get what
think
you're
when we
saying.
look at this big picture, and I think it is a big picture, because I think, if I'm doing my math right, it's $156,000 less was spent than the year before, and it's 123 households less than the year before. So I think that those numbers are actually good for the entire, the entire community. It shows something.
Yep.
Very good.
And I do know that, last fall they contacted us, they were gonna try and do some more outreach. I don't know how much they've been able to do, but they have been trying to do more outreach with the energy assistance funds, just to make sure they're utilizing all the resources available.
Sure.
Brad's afraid to show us the next slide with all these questions.
Probably.
But you're right, in terms of it's more per household for Morrison County.
And poor Karen's saying, he brought me along again, more questions. Don't these guys ever quit?
They're good questions. Okay, crisis program, service provider payments by county for the crisis program. Now, again, you can see Morrison County, we're down significantly from last year. Last year it was 33,000 when we served 105 households. This year it's 11,623 with only 31 households. So that's a big change.
It's a significant drop.
Yeah.
What is meant by crisis?
Crisis is for utility disconnects.
Okay.
That's basically all it covers.
Okay.
So they would have had to have already used the primary, and then they're still in a crisis situation.
Got it. Thank you.
And I'm assuming it's 3 times lower than last year. Do we have a reason why?
Well, you've got the warmer weather, so
But
less
even
fuel
then-
was needed.
Yeah.
And people may be more planful and using their primary heat more efficiently, so that they're not getting to that point where a crisis occurs.
And I'm saying that is substantial.
And I have to comment again, the dollars alone, $21,000 is the difference, and 74 less households. That's amazing to me.
So it goes to show, Mr. Chair, by the price of fuel and the people working,
Absolutely,
Right.
you know.
absolutely.
Well, if you pay less to run your vehicle to go
Right.
to work,
Right.
you have money left over for other
Yeah. To
To
places.
pay your
So-
utilities, huh?
You bet.
And and again, if you look at all the counties within their catchment, they are all down on both sides, both the primary and the crisis.
Okay, and then we have energy-related repair, service provider payments by county. Again, that is also down. Last year, we served 30 households, this year 17 in Morrison. So that's a big change too, but then your furnace doesn't have to run as much, so chances of it breaking down are less.
Mr. Chair, does that mean when we serve that many less, does that mean that we ran out of money?
No.
Or there was nobody else that asked?
There was less people in need.
Okay, thank you.
And these programs, they're going directly to social services, no? Or, I mean,
They go directly to TRICAP, so this is one of those programs that is, the money goes directly to TRICAP, clients call TRICAP directly, and then they make the payments.
so when do we get involved? When does social services get involved if it's all through TRICAP?
Basically, we contract TRICAP to handle the program
Yeah.
for us.
So does anybody call social services
If
for this?
TRICAP is out of crisis money,
Okay.
if they're out of energy-related repair monies,
Okay.
then they come in and they apply for emergency assistance with us. That's how we get involved.
So when X person runs out of fuel, they're not calling social services. They all know this already. They're calling TRICAP?
Correct.
Well,
But if-
well, they may call us first, and we will say, did you contact TRICAP
Okay.
to see if they have
All
any
right.
emergency funds
Okay.
available?
They have to buy there first.
So
Very good.
it goes both
Very
ways. They may call TRICAP and TRICAP says, you're gonna qualify for this pot of dollars over here.
Gotcha.
Or they may call us and we'll say you have to use TRICAP's dollars first.
Beautiful.
So if you have individuals in the community who are struggling with paying their heating bills, and, the one thing we don't have is, like age breakdowns, or, my guess is a number of these folks are probably older in age, trying to maintain themselves in their own home. Those are generally the stories we hear about, are those folks who are trying to remain in their homes, who may be older and living on a fixed income.
Especially the furnace replacements.
Yeah.
The furnaces are older and.
So TRICAP is always trying to get out there to make sure that they're reaching anybody that is in need of these particular services. So,
Good.
any other questions for Karen?
That would be it on energy. Any more discussion, gentlemen?
Good information.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you, Karen, as always. Come
Thank
back
you.
anytime.
Thank you.
I have a couple more items. The first would be approval to use fund balance to purchase EIO software from Savants. This is a program we talked about at planning last week. This will replace our Scotland Yard, which is a sign in and out board, which allows our staff to know where individuals are. Scotland Yard is no longer going to be supported. So we worked with Technology Services on some other solutions that may allow us, especially the front desk, to be able to view everybody and let people know if they're calling in or if somebody's looking for them, where they may be. It's a lot easier than having 75 calendars up on your desktop to be able to see where staff may be. And so this is the solution that best fits our needs with our new Outlook program. So it would be $1,450 initially, and annually thereafter would be $250. The other nice feature about this particular program is it can interface with other things. So if we would move to a key card system, we may be able to use it at the front desk for our clients to sign in and out. They have license swipers and those types of things. So, but at this point, we would just like to use it for our in-out board, allowing us and front desk to know where staff are.
Gentlemen, we have a motion, or not a motion, I need a motion and a second for the EIO.
So move.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion, gentlemen? This will be a roll call vote.
Mr. Chair, as far as I'm concerned, this is the price of doing business. We could bring in a couple more bodies to keep track of all this stuff, and we're not. And maybe there was a day that we did, doesn't matter. Today, we're not. I'm kind of a particular one when it comes time for, well, it's only $1,450. As far as I'm concerned, there is no only. It's $1,450, but is it wise? I think this is absolutely a total figure of, this is the cost of doing business.
Yep.
And thus I support this.
And my thing is that we can use this for other things down the road, what
Correct.
I really like.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
like you said, swiping the cards and all that sort, I think that would be great, so.
And Mr. Chair, having the experience with a type of software that can help with some of those security components, which hopefully we are continuing to address, is a nice thing to have.
All right, this is a roll call vote. Commissioner Jelinski.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Myself, aye. Motion carried.
Thank you. The next thing I have on the agenda is approval for the chair of our county board to sign for our adult mental health grant. This is a grant that helps fund some services for the adult mental health population as well as case managers. It's an annual award that our agency receives, and it is the amount with which we budgeted for in our 2016 budget, so it is what we expected. The grant amount is $328,747. And this is as I said, a grant that requires county board chair signature.
I would so move on that, Mr.
I have a
Chair.
motion, do I have a second?
Second?
Any more discussion? If none, I need, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. The next thing on the agenda, this is another thing that we talked about at planning, and actually we talked about a lot last year during our budgeting process. As you might recall, National Joint Powers Alliance has been doing innovation fund grants for 2 years now. I think last year was their second year. In the process, the Region 5 directors decided to apply for a contract manager position that would help each of our agencies manage the variety of contracts that we have. Unfortunately, we weren't funded. However, National Joint Powers Alliance reached out to us and said they were interested in doing it. However, since there was no grant, it would take county funding to do it. So the Region 5 directors worked with the National Joint Powers Alliance to come up with a formula and a plan to hire a contract manager. And it's been a very good relationship. They hired this person on December sometime. They've invested in this person, and they've really gotten their feet up and running. They've gotten off the ground running for sure. The amount that we budgeted in 2016, the amount they're charging us is actually less because we're actually using this position for another activity that involves all of our counties, the Adult Mental Health Initiative. So they're actually going to be about a third time coordinating our adult mental health initiative, and then 2/3 time being our contract manager. As we said, all Region 5 counties were interested in participating in this. However, when it came down to the county funding portions of that, Todd County backed out for this year. We're hoping they do, and National Joint Powers Alliance has actually agreed to take on that amount, hoping they can encourage Todd County to be included in 2017. So I think this is we've done contracts for many years. We have a number of contracts that we manage. We've not done the best job in some of the details of these contracts that I think a contract manager will be able to do better for us. Performance indicators, monitoring the contracts, going to some of these organizations and pulling data to make sure they're doing work that we're asking them to do. And so I think it's a position that can be very positive and helpful in our counties. I think the other thing it can help is with our providers. A lot of the providers carry across all 4 to 6 of our counties. So providers will have one contact. We can coordinate contracts to make sure that they're similar, so we're not frustrating providers with the various things that go on in each of our counties. So the request today is approving the social service director signing that memorandum of understanding. The amount that we're going to be paying NJPA in 2016 is $12,750.
Do I have a motion?
I'll so move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Jinsky?
Brad, is this 12,750 budgeted already?
It is, yes. We did budget it in our 2016, for 2016.
And with that, this program manager that we're talking about, will that person be covering Todd County also? Todd County's not funding it, I got that.
Correct.
Will they be actually working with Todd County or not?
They won't be working in Todd County necessarily. They will be, however, involved in meetings that will include Todd County. So when the directors are together, the Todd County director will be there so they can see the benefit of it. So what we've set up is that the contract manager will be coming to our regional directors meeting every month for the first few months of this year to make sure we're all on the same page. And the Todd County person will be in there. I will say, however, under the Adult Mental Health Initiative, they may have some influence in Todd County and some of the things that go on with the initiative, but not necessarily with the contracts that they're going to be managing for us and the other 3 counties in Region 5.
Okay. And I just have one more thing, and that is Region 5 is going to be covering Morrison, Cass, Crow Wing, Wadena, and would include Todd.
Yes.
Okay.
And the initiative also, I will say, includes Aiken County, so they'll get a little benefit from this as well
Okay.
on those initiative services.
Okay.
Any more discussion?
And if I'm not mistaken, I think NJPA picked up Todd County's
Right.
Correct.
portion of
Yep.
that, right?
For this
Yep.
year.
For this year.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Hopefully they will.
Okay.
Todd County will see the benefit of that. As I said at planning, if you are with your peers from Todd County, please just let them know about this program. And I'm hoping that we can get the contract manager here sometime this summer, just to talk a little bit about the services they've done, what they're doing for us.
I would like that.
Yep.
So-
Be good.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Should
Motion
I
carried.
abstain from that?
Abstain.
Abstain from this because I'm on that board?
All
I
right.
will. Okay.
Make a note, Commissioner Wilson abstains.
Thank you. And then just the last thing is I want to, again, let the board know that March is Food Shelf Month. And I think this will be 4 years that we'll be spearheading a food shelf fundraiser. Last year, we collected over $4,000 from most of the employees in Morrison County through various fundraising activities, meals. It was very successful. And the staff had fun planning and so forth. So, I just wanted to let the board know that that's going on, and if there's any concerns, please let me know.
Concern I have, I think it's a great thing, Brad.
It's been,
Tremendous.
it's been going very well, so we're actually meeting at 11 o'clock to start
And I like the
planning.
way the county participates. I think, again, it's just nothing but positive.
Mr. Chair, I think that
Keep it
it is a great thing in terms of staff, really comes together. It's amazing what staff can do. And I think we've all identified that food is a basic need. And there are many areas of our agency that serves the basic needs of Morrison County residents. So the more we can give back personally, the better. If I could get board approval would be great. That way, we can know that the support is coming from the commissioners also would be great.
Do I have a
I'm so
motion?
moved,
I got a
Chair.
motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Again, I'd like just to clarify that we are behind the food shelf drive for March for the counties.
And it's personal dollars going into that, not
Yeah,
county.
not county
right.
dollars, correct, very good point. All right, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
That's all I have this morning.
Thanks, Brad.
Anything
Thank
else? Thank you. Have a great day.
You bet.
Public health.
Morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
All right, the first, so I have Fran Dosh and Amy Harold here, just to answer any questions. Like approval to ratify it's an agreement for our PH Doc system, which is our electronic health system that we use in public health. And it's for the maintenance and support for that program. Currently, the counties that use the PH Doc system are working on 2 different servers. And as of December, is it 2018? As of December 2018, it's going to go to 1 server so that the maintenance and support will only have to be for 1 and not 2 servers. And so this doesn't change the contract at all, it just changes the date and the amount of time that we get maintenance and support for both servers.
I need a motion, gentlemen.
I'll make a motion.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion for the ratification amendment number 1 to PH Doc maintenance and support agreement? Any more maintenance or any more discussion?
Is this the one that's 200,000? Or am I reading something wrong here?
It might be,
Like 200,000?
but that is divided between the 32 counties.
Oh, okay.
that is on
I was
the
gonna say, that
system.
sounds like a lot of money for one
Yep,
county.
so
Yeah,
they'll
okay.
pay a portion of that.
Gotcha.
Any more discussion, gentlemen?
So-
Mr. Chair, this is a contract through MCCC. We had talked a little bit about
Yeah,
MCCC and
right.
what that organization does for the
And what does
county.
MCCC stand for?
Minnesota Counties Computer Cooperative, or Consortium.
Yeah, they changed.
Something like that.
So if we're doing the division on 200,000, regardless of how many counties there are, what are we
Our proportion.
on it for? Rough
It's
numbers.
21-some thousand, yeah.
Okay, and that's just obviously price of doing business again. That's the system that we utilize, or that public health, if you will, utilizes their computer system. It's just what it is.
Yes, it's their electronic health record system that we've been on for many years.
Okay.
And this is
Okay.
just the previous agreement was created April 1st of 2014, and they wanted to also extend this contract out an additional 9 months to get a calendar year, because our
Okay.
contract ends March 31st of this year.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Any
And
more
then-
discussion, gentlemen? If not, Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Business associates agreement on there? Does that need board approval? Sorry.
It's part of it.
Okay, just making sure.
Okay, yeah, it's part of it. So
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, this must be about the licensing.
You can scroll down, I just wanna see which one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is the owner licenses, is that the one we're doing now?
Yep,
Yep.
just making sure which one's next here.
Whoa, 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 whoa. A little trigger happy here with this.
New established owner
Okay,
license.
yep.
New, brand new.
So this is to approve the new establishment owner license, so we have Innsbruck and Randall and Hard Times and Hillman, and then also to approve the annual establishment license of the Red Bull Bar.
And is this something we can approve all together, or do we,
Yes.
separately?
I would so move on
I
that,
have a
Mr. Chair.
motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
One other thing is to approve the tobacco, 2016 tobacco license for Hard Times and Hillman.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion, gentlemen? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Is that it?
That's it for me.
All right.
Thank you very
Moving right
kindly.
along. Assessor's report. Here we go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're better looking. You're a lot better looking than Glenn is.
Absolutely. You can come here anytime you want.
All right. Today, we are just going through the annual disaster abatements that we do every year at this time of year. We have a total of 8 abatements. 7 are fire abatements, and 1 is a roof collapse due to snow. 3 of them are getting their second year of abatement. We allow 2 years. And then 5 of them are getting their first year abatement. So I'm just seeking approval from the board.
I would so move on that,
Do I
Mr.
have a
Chair.
second?
Second.
Any more discussion?
Mr.
Go
Chair,
ahead, Mr. Fitzgerald.
I just have to ask the question, and God forbid, and I wish nothing bad on anyone, but we obviously have a few fires here. Someone has a fire in their house, and let's just pretend it's gutted. It's junk on the inside, whether or not you save the outside, I don't know, and it doesn't matter for the purpose of this. Did I understand you correctly? For 2 years, the property taxes on the dwelling are,
On what was ever involved with a disaster gets abated. And what we do is we prorate it. So, for instance, if the fire occurs April, what we abate are May through, and if they don't rebuild
Yep.
till the end of the year, we would abate the months that it was not usable, so May through December. And we do that for 2 years.
so 2 years go by and I have not rebuilt my structure.
We go by the assessment year. So the first year, we give them an abatement for like if it happened in 2014, we do 2014 taxes.
Okay.
Then the second year, we abate, because of January 2nd of 2015, the dwelling was still there. Or 2014, the dwelling was still there. Or April, it burned, so then we do the same prorated months. So it's the same amount of months at both years that we
But
abate.
after 2 years go by, nothing's happened.
Then it's taken off the tax roll, so
Okay,
then they're not,
beautiful, that's
yep,
what I
they're
was
not.
looking for. Thank you.
Yep, sorry, I
There's no
didn't.
value
Thank you.
assessed.
Yep,
Right.
it's
That's-
removed from the tax rolls and.
That's what I was looking
yep,
for. Thank
yep.
you very much.
All
Any more
right.
discussion? Question I just have is if, when you say credit, we don't cut them a check back, we just take it off their property taxes, I'm assuming.
Well, they've already paid they have to pay their property taxes. So
but-
for 2015, for this year, they've already paid their 2015 taxes.
Correct.
So then they do get a refund
But
or
we
a
don't-
credit back.
We don't give them a refund, we give them a refund, actually.
We give them a refund, yep,
okay.
yep.
All right.
They've paid it already, but.
Because they've already paid their
Right.
taxes
I
with the
thought maybe
full
following
amount.
year they have
Yep.
1,000 due, well, we're only gonna have 900, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
all
the
right.
check will go back to them because they've already paid their property. They know that they're supposed to pay their property taxes with the knowledge that we will be abating it in February the following year.
Any more discussion, gentlemen? If not, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Auditor Treasurer,
Have a good day.
You too.
Deb.
Good morning.
Good morning, Deb.
We have a list of temporary licenses, raffle permits for you to approve, and I would like to sneak one more in for you.
If you may, can you have a copy of that, or is that on a?
This is the original, I can
Okay.
pass it around,
Please do.
or, this is a renewal for a setup license for St. Joseph Parish Hall, and I did have, Sean, Sean approved this quickly also. They sent it directly to the state, so the state has already seen this, and they're awaiting approval from us and from Sean.
Okay.
So if we could add that one to the list.
And I'm assuming we can do all these together?
Together?
We should be able to do these
All
together.
right, I need a motion.
I would so move on it, Mr. Chair.
A second?
Second.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, I have a motion and a second for the ones in our current packet, and it's St. Joe Parish Hall for the licensing and permits. Any other discussion? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on, we have two contracts with MCCC. The first one is for our IFS system, which is our financial system. This is a 3-year contract, and we just need to ratify the contract.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on these 1,000 pages that we have?
Mr. Chair, I kind of went through these 1,000 pages, and as I started going through them, I said, ooh, it's way over my head. So the biggest question that came into my mind was, first of all, and I understand, again, it's business. It's just part of the game. Has the county attorney's office gone over any of this contract stuff? That was my biggest question.
Brian has not, but the attorneys at MCCC, and we had a contract committee
Okay.
from MCCC got together, and they have reviewed these extensively.
Okay. That was my biggest question, because there's a lot of numbers
And
here.
we have a board member that's absent that always asks that question.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The MCCC contracts are vetted quite thoroughly with that, and that's one of the values of participating in that cooperative,
And
but good
that's-
question.
I mean, it's a big chunk of change, there's no doubt about it, so that's what I'm asking.
Any
Yeah,
more
and-
discussion, gentlemen? If
Mr.
not,
Chair,
go ahead.
if I could speak up, this is, the contract committee is fairly new, and so we've had a lot of discussion on these contracts this year. They spent a lot more time on them than they have in the past, and we've got a lot more language in there than we've ever had with some of these contracts. So I feel a lot more comfortable with them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion, gentlemen? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And our second contract is with Tryman through MCCC, and that is for our tax system.
Gentlemen, do I need a motion and a second?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen. And then we also have a contract.
I can't keep up here.
Yeah, there's so many pages.
Oh, my gosh.
A contract with State of Minnesota for our four-wheel organization. Pass-through money for grants. So they're asking us to approve this so we can pass it through.
Just if I may, what page is that? 170 something? Oh, my God.
170.
Yeah, a lot of paper on these grants.
I'm taking your
Well, the
word.
Thompson
And
Reuter
contracts.
one was a
Got it.
huge
77
one.
171. 171.
Was a
Okay,
huge one.
gentlemen.
Okay, I would so move on that,
We have a
Mr.
motion,
Chair.
do we have a second? I have a motion, I need a second.
Oh, I think,
All right,
Oh,
so
sorry.
we got a second. Any more discussion on this? If not, those in favor?
aye.
Opposed?
And I just
Motion
need Matt to
carried.
sign that one. Okay,
Anything?
and
This is the cash report.
Keep going here.
Yep.
We'll go over the next page.
cash report for your information.
That would be,
And Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Deb, as the auditor, our cash report is looking good?
Yeah, from where we are
past years,
Yeah.
we're doing really well.
Good.
We have a lot of money coming due that Russ had invested in the past.
Yep.
So we're looking at investment policy, and that's
Okay.
one of the things I'm gonna bring back to you in the next, couple of weeks,
Okay.
to see if you guys wanna revise the investment policies or,
There's
stick
no,
with what we
there's no
got.
motion needed on this one,
Nope.
just a
No,
discussion.
Just
Just
information. So we're doing well, we're not, losing money or,
Good. Good, thank you.
we could do better with the interest.
Anybody could be.
Anybody
There's no doubt
could.
about
It's
that.
hard to make money in interest right now.
Any more discussion on that, gentlemen? All right.
We do have warrants
Yep.
to approve.
I would so move on the warrants,
All
Mr.
right.
Chair.
Do I need a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. This is a roll call vote. Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Jelinski.
Aye.
Myself, aye. Motion carried.
Okay, and we're gonna sneak one more thing in on you here. This came in late last week, from the state. Evidently, in 1994, we got this exact same request. The Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe wants to take 3,200 acres and put it into federal trust, which basically takes it off our tax rolls and takes it out of our jurisdiction and makes it part of their tribal land.
Any discussion on that, gentlemen?
Is this something that we're gonna be voting on? I'm just asking the question
It's
first of all.
information for now, right?
Well, it's information, but it's something that they've asked us to respond to them by tomorrow. They've given us very little time.
When you say respond by,
They want information, I mean, basically,
they
what
want
these
to make a
parcels are, what
resolution or
type of
something, or-
parcels they are, and any comments we might have.
So again, it's not a motion, it's just response.
Well, Mr. Chair, this is an FYI kind of for you, but
Right,
with some
okay.
direction.
Yeah.
So late last week, Deb received this notification that you are seeing. It's from the governor's office identifying that the Department of Interior is, the federal government trust is seeking, the Band of Ojibwe is seeking this land that they currently own, from what I understand, to go from fee title, so identified as Band of Mille Lacs, or Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe, to their trust. And what that means, and this is like within, a day learning about what this means, so you gotta excuse us a little bit for that, because I haven't heard of this before. But what happens is it goes from general fee title, which is like anybody else who owns fee title land, and it moves into a trust, which then makes it kind of part of the band's trust, which essentially makes it part of the reservation. And then it ends up not being fee title. There's taxes that aren't paid. It's a different level of jurisdiction. It isn't ours any longer.
If this would, my understanding is this, they're currently, or someone, whoever owns it, is currently paying state or property taxes on it to the state.
Mille Lacs Band of
us.
Ojibwe
To us,
owns
or
it
to,
and makes,
but
right.
they're making to our whoever, to the
Yep.
county or to whomever.
Yep.
If we support or deny it, or support or deny it, I should say, then we will no longer get that tax base, okay? Is this like from an old treaty or something, or?
No, there is no, well, and it's possible way back in the
Right.
past, it may have been part of reservation land that got sold off. We don't know, that they may be trying to buy back, but it is not connected to the reservation. It does not abut up to the reservation.
we
It's
don't
next to
quite, yeah.
private property completely surrounding it.
And what dollar figure are we looking at here? Do we have that?
Approximately $16,000 to $17,000 worth of tax revenue per year.
And this is just for Morrison County?
That's split between us, the township, and the school districts.
But just in Morrison County.
In Morrison County.
Mr. Chair?
16,000. Commissioner Jinsky.
Deb, I'm still not clear. What do you want from me? You want me to support this or not support it? Is that what you're asking?
What I want to do first of all is make everybody
Aware
aware
of it.
what's going on.
Yep.
And you need us to know by tomorrow.
You need to know by
Well,
tomorrow,
we need
so-
to let them know by tomorrow what information they requested, we need to return as much information as we can. But if you want to make any comments, or you want me to make any comments along with that response, and Deb suggested we may want to request some type of extension.
First of all, you've had time perhaps to read this, to know what you're asking, what they're asking of us.
I got it yesterday at 4:24.
Maybe you haven't
Not really.
had time yet. I'm not going
But
to support or not support
What
this
we've
without even
learned
looking
since
at
is
it.
that this isn't something that I would, there isn't any type of advantage to Morrison County and the residents to have this not be a fee title owned and to pay property taxes.
Looks like
That-
it's a
From what I
disadvantage if
can
we
tell,
say.
exactly, it would take that away.
Right.
I don't know the reasoning behind this.
That's
We
the key.
certainly
Yeah,
have
the
not
reason,
had
right.
communication with the Mille Lacs Band at all in terms of what they're wanting to do and how and why they're wanting to do that. So my suggestion would be, number one, I would like to have support in responding to the Department of, I can't remember, it's the governor's office,
Bureau
but
of
there
Indian
was,
Affairs.
no, that's the federal agency,
Right.
but it's through the
There's
state agency to reply that, thank you, but a little more time would be nice, you know, to be able to gather our thoughts and to properly respond and to learn a little bit about what that means. So
Is
initially,
this-
can I
Go
just
ahead.
initially ask for more time? And then secondly, I would assume, and I would certainly hope, that the Mille Lacs Band would reach out to those impacted, like local jurisdictions that are going to now be impacted for that. So that's, a response that I would like to have, that we have had no contact with the Mille Lacs Band about their request. It has come through the state of Minnesota. So a little bit of local communication would be great,
Yep.
because it impacts our taxpayers,
Yep.
and whatnot. So those two things is what I'm thinking initially, and then kind of developing responses to what they're asking for, like what the total or the total tax impact is and things of that nature. But a little more time would be nice to
Yeah.
really thoughtfully approach this.
Really?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
just-
even think that's appropriate to,
Mr.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
to even respond. I mean, respond to, we want more time because.
yeah.
Well-
One time, I couldn't.
Anymore, yeah, I couldn't
support
support
it.
it, or didn't you go against it.
Well-
My question is the county or the state, or who makes this final decision? Do we have any input whatsoever anyway, as a county?
Well, we can certainly
Are they gonna
state
do
our
what they wa-
opinions
True,
and
but they're
comments.
gonna do what they want anyway, correct, maybe?
Well, there was, back in 1994, when this came up in the past, there was a Supreme Court ruling that stands, as far as I know,
At current, that they can't do it, is that what you're saying?
that, well, it is effective. Some parcels, they can currently tax, and some we can't tax, and, you know, that stands. I would ask, you know, Brian to help us interpret that, find that ruling. And I know in the past, Russ has worked really closely with the band, that we've been involved in some of their annual meetings, quarterly meetings. That's fallen off when they had turnover now. We're not involved with them, we don't talk to them. Anytime this has come up in the past, and they've tried to do this several times now, talking with Russ, he's been able to talk to them and convince them.
So
we
what would you
don't
like
have
to do,
any
gentlemen? Let's-
communication.
we'll
Yeah,
postpone
Mr.
it?
Chair, I
couldn't
don't,
support it.
I don't think
Right
it's
now.
gone this far, is
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
inclination we have. It hasn't gone through the Department of Indian Affairs in terms of getting that trust transfer, or however what the right terminology is.
It looks like it might even go down to or go to the federal.
It is, it's the Bureau of
Which
Indian
that one-
Affairs
yeah.
that, in the federal
Which we have
government,
no-
that,
But I don't think I will
Mr.
support
Chair,
it.
I guess if Ms. Gruber needs to take something to the state, first of all, I'm just speaking for myself. I'm disgusted with the state of Minnesota, in particularly with the governor's office, to throw something like this in our lap yesterday and make a motion, call it whatever you want to take 3,200 acres of land in Morrison County, just boom, let's blink it off the tax roll, sounds good to me, based on stuff that, quite honestly, I don't understand. Very disappointing, very disappointing.
And that money would be, if it would go off, obviously guess who's gonna pick it up?
Absolutely.
You know, it'd be the other
that is
taxpayers.
how I understand this.
Yeah.
Again, it was one of those, we needed to kind of get some quick education, which isn't
My
complete.
point, I couldn't support it based on what I see here right
Not at all.
And getting
Sure, I
it 2
would
days
have-
before.
But I will support Ms. Gruber sending a letter back
Oh,
to
definitely.
the governor's office,
Say, give us
telling
more
him,
time.
telling him that I'm not happy with it, and I don't have a
Yeah.
problem with that at all. You just don't do that in the last second. and
Mr.
expect
Chair,
it
I
to
would
be-
have to agree with Mr. Jelinski completely. And the other fact here is, if they're gonna take the land away without us saying yes or no, then don't even ask me.
Yeah, right, exactly
You're
right.
To put me in that situation.
Yep.
And if they are gonna take land away that we can approve or deny, then I want a lot more information.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, but if I can't do anything about this, then please don't ask me to do it.
You bet.
Well, and Mr.
You
Chair,
know.
they're asking for our opinion, so
Right.
I'd like to give that, and I can hear
I think
the
we just got
consensus
one.
be no.
You're right.
And I'm more than comfortable, Deb and I can draft a communication back
Please do.
indicating, no, we're not interested, but a more thoughtful and thorough response would be desired, so give us some time.
Yep.
And then I would like to stress the fact that we would appreciate a local communication
Right.
here in terms of, we have not heard of the band's intentions outside of this communication through the
They
state.
gave us
through the
such
Bureau of
good
Indian
notice.
Affairs.
And if I don't mean to interrupt, but if I'm understanding it right, in 1994, there was something that was done. And now, folks, we all know it's 2016, something new is,
Right.
no.
Yeah, I've
It
just-
looks as if in '94, we did have communication with the area director of Indian Affairs in Minneapolis, so what this letter exactly did, I don't know, but it essentially mirrors what it is you're saying today, not interested.
Correct.
Thank you, but no.
Yeah.
What influence we have, Commissioner Wilson, I don't know. I don't know enough about this process,
sure
but
you
I
don't.
certainly
Yeah.
would assume we would,
I would hope we'd
You know,
have some
hopefully-
influence because it affects our county.
Ms. Gruber, I am so in favor of your letter writing ability,
Yeah.
that you will get this taken care
well,
of.
Deb and I will
You bet.
work on that together
Okay.
and learn a little bit more, and that's what we know
Good.
thus
Good
far.
discussion, gentlemen.
Yep.
Okay.
We don't really need a motion on that, or should we give
It
them?
certainly helps anytime I can say that the board fully supports that through action that we're at
Do
this
you
point
need a
in time.
motion saying that?
I would like that.
I
That'd be
will,
good.
I will move
Motion, I
on
need a
that.
second. Gentlemen, any more discussion? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
In favor that we're doing nothing except giving them
Giving
a letter
them-
of explanation.
Tell them.
Yes.
Identifying that at this point,
Yep.
based upon what we know, because if they're not able to extend us and give us more time, I certainly want the position that I'm hearing, based upon what we know now, no.
No.
Right.
And that seems appropriate then and conveys what you were
Way
thinking,
we
correct?
could- that's the only way we
Yes,
could vote on this.
Exactly. You know, they
Come
might,
with us
if
2
they're
days
just say, hey, we're
before.
giving you another
That
$1
makes
million
sense.
if
Then
you
we'll
give
work on
this
draft.
back.
Yeah,
then
I'll
maybe
work
I'll
with you
do
this
it.
afternoon.
Yep.
Thank you,
All right.
Commissioners.
Thank you,
Thank
Deb,
you.
I appreciate the bad
Thanks,
news or the
Deb.
good news,
We
or
got
the new news.
Administrators report.
All right, Mr. Chair, I see Nicole is here, she can come up.
Ms.
if
Nicole?
you're on.
Come on up.
Thank you.
Good morning, Miss Nicole.
Good morning.
We have a request for community corrections and to comply with the Community Corrections Act and moving forward. As you know, back in time flies when you're having fun, we have talked about this fall, starting this fall, after Crow Wing announced that they wanted to exit the Community Corrections Joint Powers Agreement that we have with them and Aiken County. Subsequent action items were to dissolve effective July 1st of 2016, dissolve the joint powers organization that we are currently in. Then what happens after that? And that's where, and what we are going to discuss today.
I need a motion for the resolution, please.
I would so move on
Do I
that.
need a second?
Second that.
Any more discussion?
Yes, why don't we talk a little bit
Yeah.
about what it is we're going to
Exactly.
address?
Yep.
So the resolution in front of you identifies the action really moving forward, or the intention moving forward, maybe would be a better word, Nicole, correct? And a single county community corrections act is what we're looking to be or to provide. And I'm gonna shoot it over to Nicole, because she's gonna have better words than I will to explain it.
We'll see. The Department of Corrections has asked that we identify whether or not we will be a single county Community Corrections Act. Of course, we're staying in the Community Corrections Act delivery model, but they want to know, are you a single county? And so they have asked that we move this resolution forward, which is part of our next step, to then have this resolution identify and approve that there would be an advisory board who would oversee the creation of the comprehensive plan, which triggers the finance piece.
Okay.
So this is step one as we move down the road towards becoming Morrison County Community Corrections or a similar name.
Mr.
Commissioner
Chair,
Jalinski.
Nicole, I'm to assume Cass and Crow Wing have to, are
Aiken.
asked.
Aiken.
Crow
I'm
Wing.
sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Aiken, are asked to do the same thing.
Yes,
to
they are.
Such a resolution, okay.
Right.
Very good.
Any more discussion, gentlemen? Question I have, Nicole, Community Corrections Advisory Board, I think we discussed this, but how many people would be on that board and where would they get them from?
It would be a minimum of a 9-member board.
Yep.
And typically what happens is whoever is going to be overseeing corrections would identify some key players along with talking to administration about it. So I have found a few bodies that would be willing, some of whom are already on our advisory board for CMCC.
Okay.
And they're representing Morrison County in that fashion. Brian Middendorf. He has agreed that should he be appointed, he would continue on.
Okay.
Brad Vold, head of social services, things like that.
Yeah.
So we would identify key players and then hopefully come up with a really strong advisory board that could give input into what they want to see corrections do in the future.
Sure.
And Mr. Chair, it's outlined in statute who is a member of that, so it's something that we need in order
yep.
to be able to,
Yep.
well, like Nicole said, ultimately get the funding from the state to
Right.
support corrections. We need to set the action up a certain way, and
Yep.
that is to have an advisory board with these types of representatives.
Any more discussion?
Mr. Chair, right now, with the 3 counties, I'm on the advisory.
Okay.
So I would
Be a potential.
I would like to be on there if it's all right with.
However it goes down the road, right? You wanna
And
decide on
Mr.
the board.
Chair, Nicole, this is no shock to the Department of Corrections. They knew
Yep.
or know this is taking place, and this is all just steps that we have to go through to bring Morrison County solvent, is that?
Well, no, to change how we're delivering services,
okay.
because
Services.
remember again, this house that
That's
we
right.
lived in before
Yeah.
with the joint powers
Yeah.
with Crowing and Aiken isn't going to exist after July 1st, so
Yeah.
where are we gonna move?
Okay.
And
So
this
July
is-
1st,
Okay.
this will take effect.
Yeah.
Commissioner
Excuse me,
Wilson.
when you said solvent, the
Maybe
other
I used
piece,
the wrong
the
term.
other, no, but the other piece is that.
Exactly.
This is to build the new house.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
there we go.
Well, we're working to
Thank you for
dissolve
the
the
language.
other organization, this is starting to lay that
Right,
foundation
that's
for the
right.
new one.
Yes.
And if I may, we discussed this too, Nicole, this could possibly save us some money by going as a single community versus a joint powers.
It could. Looking at where the funding level is right now, it will not require additional Morrison County funding and
Which is a
potentially
good thing.
could require less. We're
Okay.
still looking at all the members
Right.
who will
Oh,
be
no, I
living in that house.
understand.
Well, absolutely, absolutely.
If I could clarify one thing as well, the Department of Corrections, the reason they're asking for this is so they can check a box and say, this matter has been taken care of. We don't need to look at hiring staff. The Department of Corrections doesn't have to look at that for Morrison County. So they can check that box and keep moving. So it really is just a step that they need us to do.
Because if we decided not to live in this kind of house, one of the other options would be Department of Corrections, doing that function for us. And so that's
Absolutely.
kind of the clarification that they want in their planning process. And I think for us, it's nice to just have that solidified. It's kind of what's been in our mind, but
Something
we
new
want to
that
do
we
that.
can-
The process of dissolving, again, that organization continues. We're meeting with Aiken and Crowing, and we're talking about how to dismantle those components and making sure everything legally is taken care of, making sure that we're working with the staff that exists now. And then we're also working to build, this is a first step in building that new house, but we'll have to build what it is we need in terms of staffing and things of that nature. It's gonna look very similar, mind you, because we've kind of been operating as
Is it joint powers?
joint powers, but yet, we all have our functions and we still have the same people to serve and we have all that. It's going to look very similar, but we need to kind of cross those Ts and dot those Is throughout the next number
Commissioner
of
Johnson.
months.
So Nicole, you'll bring back a list of the
Advisory board?
people that will be on that board?
Yes, it is my understanding the board needs to formally appoint those members.
Okay.
And
Sure.
we're not ready to do that today,
Right.
it's just identifying.
That's a good question.
But now I have another question on that. Well, we have, like, right now, we have, advisory board and executive board.
There will not be an executive board.
Executive board will go away. Okay.
It's governed by you as a county board.
Right, right.
Yes.
It's just under it.
It's like a planning commission or like a board of adjustment. There are statutory defined functions of separate committees. This is one of those. When you
Yes.
deliver services in that regard or in that way, you need to have this advisory board that is a part of that delivery. But
Sure.
otherwise, you five govern that solely.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, so would there be two two commissioners on the advisory since there's no, not the other board? Or
Just
is
say
there
it
only gonna
one
be
here.
one?
Executive.
Honestly, it can be made up any way
Okay.
that you would
It doesn't
like.
have
This
to be
is,
county
this is the
commissioners.
minimum of what it needs to
I
be.
see.
Yeah,
It
there's
could
gotta be a
be-
county
Could be the
commissioner.
full board.
One at least.
Could be.
It could be.
I got you.
Right, so it would depend if you, both, you know, if two members who were on the executive committee wanted to be on, or two other
Sure.
members, that would be fine as
Yeah.
well. What I would say is, I would prefer it not get to be too big, because
Yep.
it's hard to
Right.
make decisions
Right.
when
And
boards
this
get too
would be
big.
coming to the board, what, before July 1st? or
Yes.
after?
Yes.
Before
Yeah.
July 1st, okay.
And keep in mind that you as a 5-member board are now governing this function.
Right.
You didn't before, you were a
Right.
component of a larger
Yep.
board. So updates and, you
Yep.
know, this is now a county
So
department. that
Nicole's gonna have to come in front of us more often.
We're going to, she's going
you
to
go.
get to come in
Get to,
front of
there,
you
Yes.
more
get to.
often.
Good wording.
Okay, gentlemen, any more discussion? Okay, we have a motion to consider the resolution to enter into a single Community Corrections Act with Minnesota Department of Corrections and to create a Community Corrections Advisory Board. I have a motion and second. Any more discussion? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right,
Do we
thank
need a
you.
roll call?
No,
Or
we
not?
should be good.
Okay,
That's
excellent,
just it.
okay.
All right,
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I don't have additional action items, just a reminder that I'll be out later this week through next week. But available by phone or email if you need anything. The legislative conference, the AMC Legislative Conference is coming up. I think you're all forwarded communication from AMC. If you want to register for that, let Nicole know, and so she can get everybody registered and signed up for that.
Is that something that we should go to or normally go to, or?
Normally, yeah, I would say, I usually attend with commissioners. It's AMC's legislative conference. It kind of goes through where the legislative platforms are for the different groups.
What day was those again?
Oh, I'm sorry, Thursday, March 10th and Friday, March 11th. It's in St. Paul. There's a reception that invites legislators down there. It's a nice,
Is this the one that we went to last year?
yeah, it's every year in March.
And there was training like for the new board members?
No.
That was
No,
the
that was
new
something else.
commissioner
That
school.
was something else,
But
okay.
yeah.
I doubt
This
it.
is,
Which
this
is
is a
a
good
I could
one.
go again, yes, I'd like to.
This is a
be.
good one to go to.
It
I
is.
think
Okay,
it is.
okay.
It's kind of getting to know, get your other
Yeah,
commissioners and stuff. It's
absolutely.
very good.
I'll let you know.
Nicole, you
I
can
didn't
mark
go
me down.
last year.
I'm
I
gonna
went
plan to go.
before.
This is down in, this one is actually,
It's one in St. Paul. We
St.
go
Paul.
At, whatever.
oh, is this one at the Crown?
Yes.
Yep.
Or
Crown.
something
Now,
else?
Crown.
That's the one where
It's that same
you hit
place.
the top of
That's
your
right.
vehicle?
Yeah, vehicle kind of.
Don't have to share everything, Commissioner Whitney.
Left some red paint there one other year. That's right,
Anything
okay.
else?
No, I don't think so. Just so you know, the tech services manager position is advertised. That'll be open through the end of this month. What else was I gonna tell you? I forget. I mustn't have been important. There you go. I don't recall, actually.
Well, if you think of it while we're doing our
All right.
committee reports, we'll
All
go
right.
from there. Dates,
February 15th through February 26th, please.
Mr. Johnson.
Okay.
What was the first page?
On the
15th to the
16th, on the 16th, we got planning, and at 8:30 in the morning, and on the 16th at 12:15, Commissioner Wilson and I have community development at 12:15 at Pine Country Bank. I have, myself and Commissioner Wilson have community corrections on the 17th in Brainerd at 9 in the morning.
Mr. Chair, as a reminder, Dwayne, I won't be able to be there.
No, that's
I'll be
fine. I think the other two administrators will be, you're
We've
gone,
been
right?
talking.
Then, on the 22nd, we have planning and zoning at 7 in the evening, right here.
Planning
And on the-
commission or planning zoning?
Planning commission.
Planning commission. And then, I think, is it like 10 in the morning, we've got extension committee in St. Cloud.
Tri-county.
And then, there's the MCI thing,
what day was
The
MCIT,
22nd.
22nd.
So planning commission at 7, Tri-county extension, he said at 10.
I think it's 10 in the morning.
It
I just
is.
got a notice in the mail yesterday.
It is.
And then also, at the MCIT building, there's a legislative deal on the South Country Health Alliance from 1 to 3 that day,
On the 22nd?
on the 22nd. And what happened was, they set one up in Owatonna, in Little Falls, and none of the legislators could come. So they're hoping they get a few of them that day. So I'm not sure if we need to have that down. Mike and I were talking about it, but I'm not sure if anybody's going, whatever.
Are you thinking you're going to that?
Possibly. I'm not sure. Depends on Mike.
Well, this is probably one that we should, since we're on the South Country Board.
I think that this would be a positive one for the two of you to be.
Well, then they wouldn't go to the tri-county.
Yeah, then we have the Tri-County.
Well, you gotta flip
Yeah.
a coin maybe, or
And
whatever.
well, you know,
Extension,
to
yeah.
me, the Tri-County thing is, I think, is number two. It would be number two for
And
me.
that's up to you
We've
guys.
got other
You guys
people
can
on it, so
decide.
we can see. But that's at 1 to 3 o'clock at the MCIT building. That's in St. Paul, right, Deb? Okay.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Well, I'm thinking that you and I will probably
Okay.
go to that.
That sounds
And
good.
maybe you two
Yep.
try to go to the extension.
Well, we're
Yep.
on the extension.
Yeah, I'm on the
So-
extension
So
committee.
that'll
Yep.
cover for us.
Yep,
Yes.
sounds good. And then on the 23rd, we got board, and I think the state auditor's coming in for their entrance
After the meeting.
after that. On the 25th, Thursday the 25th at 6 o'clock, I have Region 5 in Staples at 6 PM. And that's it, through 26th, that's mine.
Commissioner Wilson, anything from the 15th on to the 26th?
Okay, Dwayne, on the 18th, I've got TCC. Dwayne did the 22nd.
But the TCC is where?
Oh, in Little Falls.
It's good, but it's gonna be at the Arts Center rather than at TCC, because it's for the spouse.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
we're
Is that
going
the
there.
Great River Arts?
No,
Great
I
River
don't. I
Arts,
wasn't
Great,
there last
oh,
time.
okay,
Yep.
Great River Arts Center. It's a recognition for the board members and so.
Okay. All right, and then that, Dwayne's got everything else covered.
Okay, and I have pretty much that. On the 25th, Thursday at 9, Soil and Water. And then at 11 o'clock, I have a library assessment meeting down on the 26th in St. Cloud. And that would do it for me. Commissioner Jelinski.
Nicole, do you still have lead in that pencil? Okay.
Getting there.
On the 17th, 5 o'clock PM, I'll be at Long Prairie at Hands of Hope at the Todd County Courthouse. On the 18th at 10 o'clock in the morning, I intend to be at an Owners and Operators meeting in Douglas County. At 7:30 that evening, I've got Egg Society here at the courthouse. On the 19th, I will be spending the entire day at Tara Jordan's classroom at the Little Falls Community High School. On the 24th, at noon, I think I have this right, there's a CAPS meeting in the jury assembly room
On the 24th?
on the 24th. And on the 25th, you all remember that I'm on the statewide Emergency Communications Board as representative for the Greater Minnesota Emergency Services Boards. I don't get to this one a lot, but I'm intending on being in Arden Hills that day. And that's it.
And what is that called?
Statewide Emergency Communications Board
What time's that at?
at 12:30.
And the CAPS meeting is at what time on the 24th?
I'm sorry, that's at noon.
Thank you.
Okay, we got all them. Any more, gentlemen? Otherwise, I'd like a motion for adjournment. A second.
Second.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.
Geez, you could have kept going for a little bit longer, you could have at least made 11 o'clock.
A lot of stuff there. A lot of stuff
We did
today.
good, we did good. Get it for you.
Well, he has to say
You know,
it.
you're getting
We
so-
have to give you
You're
credit.
getting so dramatic over there. Do you go home and watch us on TV?
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Try to fix the things that are wrong.
Exactly. Well, you better
Because
bring
you're
the
learning, yeah, I
shin
understand.
kickers. I want the shin kickers. So, am I,
Let's get
That was
along,
good.
do you have
guys.
everything ready for me to sign?
I think that's fighting.
I don't, but I will.
Okay,
think
that's
that's
fine.
I know you're kidding.
That was very good discussion. I appreciate the input, gentlemen.